Hello, and today we're going to be making my very first bullet journal for the year. I know it's already March, but I'm making this in February, kind of prepping. Here you could tell I'm a little hesitant about writing my name at the beginning to get started. Uh, I don't like my handwriting most of the time, so there's that. So here we are, we're starting with the yearly calendar page, and I have these little printouts that I made of all of the months, and I'm just gonna glue them all in right here. First, I'm going to line them up, make sure I know how much of the page they're going to be taking up. So I'm penciling that in. And now I'm just going to trim them down a little bit and then use my glue stick here to stick them right in. This seems to hold them in pretty well. They do like to pop up like right away. If the corners didn't get quite right, they'll pop up a little bit, and I just kind of lift them a little, add a little bit more glue until I can get them to stick. Here I am going from the bottom to the top. So with the months having different amount of days and different weeks, some of them are different sizes, and I didn't take that into account. So with me starting at the bottom, that means the tops aren't even, which is a little annoying, but it's something that I'm okay living with for the year, I guess. Okay, so at this point, I still don't really know what I want the header to look like, even though I have, my spacing now. So I'm just gonna attempt to make some bubble letters, but I guess first I'm doing washi tape. Yeah, I decided to line the sides of the pages with washi tape. And it's just this fun little coffee pattern because my theme this year is coffee for the beginning of for my yearly spread. I just want to make it all coffee related. Here I'm going to attempt bubble letters, and they turn out horribly. But I'm still pleased that I got them in. I do go back and fix them a little bit later, but until then, this is what they look like. So here I have this whole little booklet full of coffee stickers and coffee like product type things, and I'm just gonna randomly place them throughout the spread to kind of bring in that coffee cup, coffee shop vibe. And now we're gonna be working on the coming up section. So this is just where I'll put anything that is going to be happening throughout the year, and then I can highlight the little calendars on the side so I can see what days those are. These are for big events that happen yearly, or that I know, just things that like larger events that you want to track. So like birthdays or vacations, and all those will go over here on this side. I do not have this many of them, so I don't know why I made such a large space for it. But here we go. So then I try to fancily write in all the titles. And again, I'm still working on my handwriting. I'm not the best when it comes, I quick hand things, so I'm not the best at making things legible. I do go back in at the very end of all this and print out all of these headings, except for the 2025, because I made that one too small. But I print out all the headings so they're they're much easier to see. I make them a dark brown, as to where right now they're an orange, and you can't really see them. This box I'm working on now is the Homestead Goals. So these are goals for me and my boyfriend to do for around the house. So things that we'll be doing in the yard this year, things that we want to do in the house this year, and anything that doesn't get done, we'll just move on to next year. But it's a nice place to track anything that we plan on having done or want to have done, so that if we don't know what's next, we can always remember what we said we wanted to work on by coming back to this little page and looking. Just gonna cover some spaces with these little coffee guys. And now we're moving right along. This is the goals page. Yeah, this is the goals page. Well, I decided to go back in and I'm adding in the secondary washi tape. It just has the word coffee over and over again. It's also very clear. So in the book you can see it, but you can't really see it through the recording. So we're just going in and making sure I'm adding in that edging. All my highlighters are on the desk because I didn't know which one I wanted to use to highlight the lines, and then I never moved them, so they're all just sitting there after I chose which one I wanted. Okay, now that the washi tape's in, I'm just gonna go in and kind of map out my heading for this page. Again, I do print out headings and make them look fancier, which you'll see in the final flip through. This one is just going to be one large box that takes up pretty much all the page, and they'll have lines for me to write on just different goals that I want to have accomplished. I also go back in and add in a checkbox next to all of them so that I have a spot to mark when that goal has been completed, which I did not add in at the beginning. There are a lot of things throughout this spread, well, the whole book, that I had an idea, but somewhere between making the plan for it in the last video and actually doing it in this video, they got lost, and I don't remember. There were so many things where I was like, what did I mean by this? And I just kind of got confused. Goals is pretty straightforward, but obviously there should have been a spot for me to click or to check it off when I finished a goal. So I don't know what I was thinking there. We have adding in that second washi tape, kind of add in that pop of extra color. Now I'm just counting out because this is going to be my biggest mistake yet. I'm working now on the no spend spree. So this is a yearly calendar, which I did not count the dots before I decided to put horizontally. So now as you see me writing in the numbers, I'm going to get very confused as I realize there's not 31. So the idea for this spread, now I'm checking the calendar to make sure. I'm how messed up am I? So the purpose of this spread is every day that goes by when I don't spend any money, I can mark it. So the idea is to have a really long running line. So it's a spree. So I can see how many days in a row I didn't spend any money. And that is extra money. So that doesn't count things like grocery shopping, bills, and gas. So here I've decided that I'm going to extend it by adding in a flap. So I don't have any extra paper, bullet journal paper, so I'm just using a piece of printer paper, which is very flimsy, and I wish I would have had a piece of the bullet paper to use, but this is going to work for now. So I just add in the rest of the days, get it cut down, and kind of line it to try to make it look pretty. I also didn't go all the way up, so the numbers actually went onto January's line instead of the line above January. But that's okay because, again, I'm starting my journal in March as it's near the end of February when I'm recording. So I just decided to just jump right into March and not worry about January and February. So it's okay that the numbers are in January for this time, but I'll definitely make sure that I work on this layout for the next year. I also had to move this guy over because he was So now I'm working on the savings section. And this is just going to be, there's going to be 4 boxes, and in each box is going to be a different saving goal I have for this year. So like we're planning a trip to Colorado. I'm going to make sure that 1 box is the trip to Colorado, and every time I add money to that box essentially, or that folder, wherever I am keeping the money, I'll add in here how much I've saved. As well as there'll be the goal number written in the savings box so that I can kind of track how much I'm saving over the year. I also go back in and add in a savings, a main savings box up next to the name, but I see I did not do that here. So I must do that later. So this is going to be my 25 for 25. So this is the 25 things we're going to do 25 times in the year 2025. I was really excited to try this spread and to add it to my journal and see how much I could accomplish in that period of time. I, however, also mess up this box, and it takes me a second to figure it out. So like first one here, I only made 24, so I had to add in a box. Here on the end. And then I am gonna number down. And 25 doesn't go to the end of the page, so I make my line here, and I'm just like, well, what am I gonna do at the end of the page here? So I decided to make this pocket because I realized that I don't have the space to write my 25 things as well as track the 25 over, because I was planning on doing it horizontally. So I was going to write where all those numbers are. And when I realized I didn't have the space for that, I decided I was going to add a pocket here and put all the 25 things on a separate sheet to take off, like, so I could take it out and read it and then mark them off as I go. So the pocket idea would have worked, but then I realized that if I just write the names horizontally, vertically. I'm challenged right now. If I just write them up and down along the bottom of the 25 page, it will work out fine. So I end up moving that pocket to the bottoms of the reward page that I'm currently working on. So the reward pages are the things that I want to purchase this year, essentially, but I'm saving them as a reward for myself. So they're things that, either items I want or things that I'd like to do that I will be able to like unlock for myself once I've completed other tasks in mind. And that's pretty much all that spread is. It's just going to be a placeholder for all those things. So now we're on to the next page, and I'm going to be working on the craft ideas for us as well as future me problems on this page. So the craft ideas plus us are supposed to be ideas that me and my boyfriend want to do together, things that we want to try, and it's just a nice little list, so a nice place to hold all that information. And then the future me problems are things that I'd like to have done this year, but if I don't have time to do them this year, it's also not the end of the world. I decided to not box and or use a ruler for this section. I don't know why. It's the only section I do this way. So I'm freehanding all of the lines and didn't box them in. I don't hate the way it looks, but I thought it was an interesting choice to randomly try throughout this spread. And then I go instantly back to lining it with the ruler. Going in and adding in some fun stickers to kind of decorate the page, give it that vibe, the coffee that I wanted to go with. And now we're on the next page, because the page next to the goals was the year in pixels, and I decided instead of lining all of that out, I'm gonna print it out and stick it into the page, because that's just, I wanted to make it smaller, and so it took up that page correctly. So that page will get done later. So now that we're on to the next page, I'm starting with the sub tracker. So this is just a way for me to track my social medias over the year. I go down and add in enough space for 12 so I can track it for every month, even though we're already 2 months in. So every month or so I can add in just how many subs or how many followers I have on each of those social medias that I have added there. I also added a 4th box there and then had to cover it up for a 5th box, and I just kind of pretend like it doesn't exist moving forward. The reason I moved over to the sub-tracker page is because the page before it has posts and projects on it, and I totally forgot what I meant by that. I had no idea. I know now what I meant by that because I, edited the video for setting all this up, and I explained in it what I wanted. However, I do not do the layout that makes it so I can do what I wanted to originally with this, but I figured out a way that will work for me, because I forgot. I was like, what am I even supposed to be doing here? There was also another section that was supposed to go under the sub tracker that I didn't have any clue for what it was supposed to mean either, because it was like a video tracker, and I was like, am I supposed to be writing down every video I post? I don't understand. So I just took that little sticky note and tossed it aside and moved on, because I was like, I don't need that information. But once watching back the planning video, I realized that that was supposed to be anything that I enjoyed doing. So that's now going to go in the post section. Posts that I liked making or that I enjoyed in some way, as well as information about that. And then the projects will be just things I'm working on. So here we've jumped forward to the next day. Actually, I think like a couple days later. But I have my printed titles, and I've decided to put this extra little embellishment washi tape behind the titles. As you can see, they're much easier to read and nicer. So I'm adding into these 2 sections below a monthly focus as well as a growth chart. The growth chart I was really excited about because I made these little coffee bags, and inside of them are plants that I get to fill out whenever I feel like I have growth in this area. So the big bag has the word writing on it, and it is to track any growth I have with my writing. The next bag, but there is work. So there's writing, work, art, and YouTube. And it's just to feel the growth in those areas of my life as I start working on them more focused, like with more focus in this coming year. I did start with the glue stick and switch to this tape roller because the glue stick just wasn't getting them to stick in the area properly. So I just added the tape roller for the last 2 bags. And I felt that really helped make them kind of stick to the page a little bit better. So then I have these papers with little leaves on them. There's 5 leaves in each one, and I'll fill the leaf in with color and then write a little informational about why I filled that leaf in on the back of that. I'm also really sorry here. This is really early in the morning, and I didn't realize how much light was coming in that window and casting a shadow across the book. But this is the monthly focus section. I broke this into 2 boxes so that I could have the focus on one side and the some more goals on the other. And here we're doing the final flip through. You can see kind of the edits I made as far as the text updates, and then like the 25 for 25 is sideways. There's the year in pixels I got added in. And then there's the goals that I have, or the growth that I have. That one little bag started to cause me issues, but it has been fixed now. I just glued down that corner. And then there's the New Year letter to myself. And that is the end of my yearly spread. Thank you so much for watching and joining me on this very first ever bullet journal setup. I'm really excited to use this for the rest of the year, and I can't wait to make the monthly spread next.